Well, the political carousel keeps on spinning. This is Local Decision 2022 as we continue to bring in candidates. And Bob Nelson now joins us in studio, the incumbent mayor of Spring Lake Park. And you're running again, Bob, and thanks for your time. And I know you have an extensive history in the city as a mayor, on the city council. Why should people put you back in office?
Well, I think I have the experience of all the years, 22 years of either being on city council, planning and zoning, and the mayor. The trying times that we've had, I pulled our city through that quite well with the pandemic, now the inflation and the things that are going on. Our CARES money, we spent $100,000 of the federal money to our local businesses. We kept them running. We kept jobs in the neighborhood. The city, we got Hy-Vee there, which was a tremendous, tremendous thing. And that was a lot of work with me and Dan and the, planning and zoning and all of that to get that going. And people say, well, you lost your municipal liquor store. Well, the city's portion of the taxes from Hy-Vee overwent any profit margin we had at the liquor store. And there's no liability, there's no workman's comp, there's no health insurance, there's none of this thing. So dollar for dollar, that's one of my best accomplishments was getting Hy-Vee into the city and keeping the commercial tax base really high so I can keep the bedroom community taxes low and let people be able to afford to live in the city.
What are you hearing from the residents of Spring Lake Park when you knock on their doors or run into them at Hy-Vee or wherever it might be?
A little bit of everything. I mean, they're frustrated, they're finally getting back out again. They don't like the way prices keep going up and up and up. Probably crime is at the top of their list that they want addressed, whether it's property crimes or violent crimes. I mean, every day on the news, somebody's getting hurt. A couple of years back, we had an incident in my neighborhood. And it brought a new light to me, made it even stronger on how I want our police department, our sheriff departments to run. When this guy started shooting up our neighborhood, shot at this armored vehicle from SWAT, threatened my life, my wife's life, my neighbors' lives. I have zero tolerance for it. I won't back down. And my top priority, as far as the public goes other than their money, is safety. And I will keep the police department staffed, well-educated, informed, active, and let them do their job.
What's your vision for Spring Lake Park from 2022 and beyond?
2022 and beyond, well, one of the main things I want to do 2022 and beyond is implement with the magnet of Hy-Vee there and the increased foot traffic to where some of our vacant commercial properties are there. Some of them are getting old, getting in investors to either redevelop existing structures, whether it's remodel them, tear it down, build a new one, get that commercial tax base way up there so I can counteract all these other measures that are going against the city to keep the community, the bedroom community taxes lower. That's one of my main goals right now.
So Hy-Vee essentially has been a windfall. Do you feel like it's even more of a victory when you factor in they're not coming to Blaine, they've canceled out on Maple Grove, that it looks like growth in the Twin Cities at least is on a treadmill for right now, but you have it?
Yes, and I got it, and I'm so grateful to that. And it opened up so many doors. There's realtors, investors that call weekly, asking about different properties in the city. We're working on those things, trying to get that all done so we can get this going. Because it's very important. I mean, they're 2.2 square miles with about 17% non-taxable, churches, schools, that type of thing on commercial property. For what commercial property we have, we got to take the strategy to create the best buildings, businesses there to keep that tax base up, create jobs, get them to come here, and then that'll spread out through the city.
All right, Minnesota State Highway 65, everybody wants it improved. Everybody wants it to happen now. But for you, it's personal. I know that you told me before the interview, the house you were born in Spring Lake Park, was relocated decades ago because of 65. So now here we are. This road needs to be upgraded to, make commutes faster, allow goods to get from A to B quicker, and people to do just the, mundane things on an everyday basis. How does that happen?
Well, that's a long road. Right now, we've got a lot of it done. MnDOT, the studies were all done.
Yeah.
Pretty much that's all done. Now, the Pella money, we're waiting for a meeting with some council or Congress people this week. Yet, I'm trying to secure money for this funding to get it done. Not only do we need the new overpasses and everything to get the traffic flow going, we need the safety, both on 65 and 47. I believe 9 pedestrians have been hit on 47. And if memory serves me correct, from Columbia Heights up through Blaine, there was another 7 over the last few years. These types of things, crosswalks, maybe some pedestrian bridges, have to get added into this. You get the traffic flow going, it'll be a safer road to begin with, because people ain't so frustrated. They don't get the attitude when they're driving. They're more peaceful, so then you don't have all the lane changes.
Spring Lake Park has undergone some demographic shifts over the years and a lot of diversity. How do you foster a city where people are all on the same page, where everybody feels welcome?
That could be a challenge. I mean, I'll welcome and stand up for anybody. We have interpreters in this and that, so some of it's the language barrier, which is frustrating with me, because I'm just English.
Yeah.
But with the right interpreters and talking with them and meeting with people that they know that can speak clearly enough in English to do it, we're making it happen. It's huge strides. I mean, it's a home for everybody. And it don't matter who you are. You want your city, you want your home to cater to some of the things that you need. It's been a challenge, but not as hard as I thought it would have been. There's not animosity. It seems like everybody's getting along, just like they pretty much always have in Spring Lake Park. We've been fortunate enough to have residents in Spring Lake Park for the 64 years I've been here that are neighborly. So that part of it really makes it easy.
Is it fair to say you learn their culture, they learn the one they're moving into, and you meet in the middle?
You meet in the middle. Yeah. I mean, everybody's got a different culture.
Yeah.
But when you get to the melting pot theory, you got to have some common ground. And most of it is the parks, the schools, the police. It don't matter where you're from, what country, what language you speak. We all want our children to get educated. We all want them to be able to get to school back and forth safe. We want a nice house. We want to be able to have some money left over at the end of the year or the end of the week to buy a new couch, a new car. You got to keep the city affordable for these people to live the dream of being in America.
Parks, green spaces, open areas. Where do you land on all that?
I love it. We're in the midst of plan reviews on Abel Park, Warming House and Community Center there. It was built in the 60s. Bathrooms ain't really compliant to the new standards in this, so we've set aside a good chunk of money. We're going to redo all of that, give them a place to go, all accessible to anybody with any type of handicap. That'll create more opportunities for the city here, or the residents in the city, and for the city Park and Rec to grow and add jobs, to have the summer programs and the winter programs.
So you're a Spring Lake Park guy. I mean, the city's basically in your DNA.
Yep.
I'm guessing you think that helps your cause to being reelected as mayor. I mean, you know the ins and outs, the nuances, and
I know
all the stuff.
I mean, I know all the state statutes. I've been here forever. My whole life, being involved in the government for 22 years. I don't have to go and look everything up every time. I mean, I've learned it over those amounts of years, whether it's even past experiences of what happened in the neighborhood when I was a childhood, when we went through the tornado in 1965, and how the residents pulled together and let somebody come into their house until they could get back into their own house because the windows were blown out. I mean, all those things go hand in hand, I guess, with growing up in the city and knowing it. And then with my political experience, I get a phone call. It don't take 20 phone calls for me to get an answer. I know who to call. I can get the ball moving right away.
Do you sense political fatigue right now? I mean, even at the level you're running, Mayor, Spring Lake Park, so much polarization, so much acrimony, national politics, even here in Minnesota with the major races. Do you sense it when you knock on the doors and talk to people?
Yeah, I sense it, and people start venting a little bit that way, and I go, well, I'm not partisan. I mean, I'm going to work with whatever party it is, and I have to do that to the best of my ability so I can get funding like we need for Highway 65, Highway 47. Having that open relationship, whether it's at the state level or the federal level, and being nonpartisan, and I have an ability to be able to work with either side of the aisle to get what the city of Spring Lake Park needs. And at the end of the day, that's one of the most important things we have to do. Because to make this a beautiful city or keep it a beautiful city, make it better, we have to work with these people on a one-on-one basis to achieve the priorities we set forth on where we want to go.
Business-wise, I mean, Hy-Vee's the big fish, as you touched on. It's been a game changer. Yes. Do you want to lure in smaller businesses to complement Hy-Vee and kind of fill out the portfolio in Spring Lake Park?
Yes, that's my dream. There was a lot of empty land and old buildings on Highway 65 and even J that nobody wanted to invest in because there wasn't the foot traffic or the people coming here from all over. Because it's not just the people in Spring Lake Park that go to these businesses. As they're driving through and they go to Hy-Vee and they leave, oh, there's Chet Shoes, there's Pizza Hut, there's whatever. These are the types of things we got to get up and fancy, more of them going. And the more we do that, the easier it is to keep the city budget balanced and not have to tax people out of their homes.
How do you view Northtown? I mean, it's basically in Blaine city limits, but you're knocking on the door. You're right there on the periphery in Spring Lake Park. It's going to affect you. How do you want Northtown to go?
Well, there's so many different plans now with Northtown and what they want to do and how they want to change it. At one time, there was going to be apartments in there and medium density and that type of thing. And I wish they'd get some better magnet stores in there. I like the retail. A police standpoint, if it went to a whole bunch of apartments there being that close, and with only 11 officers on the team, it'd be very hard for us to keep up and help with Blaine and still give the services we need for our residents in Spring Lake Park. So I'd rather have it stay more retail than high density, medium density housing, just on a safety aspect of the size of my police department.
Before we conclude, do you have any final messages for the voters out there?
Well, I don't ever have any agenda of my own. It's for the city. I've done that time and time again. I donate hours and hours with the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon. I serve the service members and their families in Spring Lake Park, statewide. We do a lot of that. I'll continue to work hard, talk to the people that we need to talk to make Spring Lake Park a great place to live from now and on and on. Because it's a great feeling to run a city or be part of it like I do, and I take great pride in what I do. And I just hope you believe in me and get out there and vote.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you for having me and the time and all the good things that North Metro does, covering our schools and our football games and our basketball games and all the things you do. That in turn, this business makes Spring Lake Park and Blaine and all the other cities that
Yes.
you represent a community.
All right, good to hear that. He's Bob Nelson. He's the incumbent running again for mayor, Spring Lake Park. This is Local Decision 2022.